Hi, I'm just going to go through the pre-release for those who are having issues with it. So here is pre-release, and it is a bit different to some of the other ones. I think the key for this one is not to worry too much about time. So don't start doing any sort of time stuff where you're setting a timer or you're checking the system time. You don't need to do that. You can just get the user to enter it. If we take task one, the first thing to do is, if you're calculating the money for one boat, you need to just set up a few things. So I've got a Python file here. I'm just going to write some comments. So the main thing is to think about the algorithm. For task one, it says calculate the money taken for one boat, so we don't have to worry about 10. Cost of the hiring the boat is $20 for 1 hour. So what we need to do is set some constants, which, as you remember, in Python are the same as variables because Python can't handle constants, but you'll need to set up a couple of them. So we'll do a couple of constants for the cost of the hire, like that. And then what we're going to do, it says when a boat is hired, the payment is added to the money taken for the day. So we're going to need a variable for money for the day. And if no boats are oh, hang on, that's part two. A running total of the hours hired. So we need an hours hired variable as well. And at the end of the day, we're going to no boat can be hired before 10 or after 5. So we're going to get the user to enter the time. Then we're going to check, is it between 10 and 1700 hours? So you could just do greater than, less than. So is it greater than 10 and less than 5 or 1700 hours? That's fine. Then you can have probably some kind of boolean to show if boat is hired out or is currently hired out. Check that. And then what else are we going to do? Have I missed anything? No, we do need a boat variable. A boat variable. Maybe you could have that as boat is available or something like that, and that could be your boolean there to show whether or not it's available. Or what you could do is you could have another variable which is called boat return time, something like that. Boat return time. Sorry about all the banging and stuff in the background. My children are they don't know I'm recording, so they're banging around a bit. Boat return time, and if it's 0, then the boat's not hired. If the boat has a value other than 0, boat return time is not equal excuse me, to 0, then it's hired out, because you can enter that like the time that it's due back. So if it's due back in half an hour, so you could say, okay, it's 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock or 10 a.m. and it's due for return in an hour at 11 a.m. So you store in boat ret time 11, and that's automatically, because it's not 0, that it's being hired out, and that's the return time. So that's task 1, and all you have to do for task 2 is then extend it for 10 boats. So for task 2, you need to have an array, or a list as we call it in Python. So I'll just put T2, task 2. I could probably just write this anyway. I don't know why I'm doing it in a Python file. Array list, and so you could use everything that you use for this, but with a for loop or a while loop or some kind of little, well, probably a for loop's better, so that when you're checking to see if a boat's available, you just check for the first boat that's got the value of 0. So you can have boats array, and there's 10 boats in there. I've spelt boats wrong. And when you want to hire out a boat, you do the same here. You check to see if it's 10 between 10 and 5, so you can reuse that code, put a loop around all of task 1, but this time, instead of using one boat, you use the array, and you check using a for loop when the next available boat is by checking whether or not it's 0. So for example, if you had a couple of boats out for hire, you might have something like this, which is 11, 11:30, and then some zeros. So you know that you've got, if you print that array out, you've got 2 boats out at the moment, and you've got however many free. Obviously I haven't used 10 there, but you would have to do 10. So that would be probably, well, this is how I did it anyway. I mean, you might come up with a different way, but which is equally valid, but this is my sort of solution. So so that's what you need to do for task 2. And as you are hiring stuff out, you can still use that code for task 1 by having, instead of, I think you've got to do for the third one, for task 3. So for task 3, you've got to say how long, if there was any that not hired out, you can use another array for that. So if you, how many boats were not used, so you can say which ones were hired out, and you just have that in the array, like true, 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 false, and each one of those is, that's boat 1, that's boat 2, that's boat 3, that's boat 4, etc. So their position, remember with arrays, if it's the position of the array, you can use as the boat number. Obviously remembering that arrays are 0 index, so you need to do it +1. So that might be, in that position of that array is 0 because it's a 0 indexed array, but you just do it +1. That would be your boat number 1. So everything, use the array +1. So as long as you get that data, you should then be able to do task 3, which as you sort of done task 1, task 2, should get that data for you, and you just need to print it out. And obviously you need some kind of menu system to let the user enter this in. So remember that you can do that with, using P, or P for print, or get the user to input what they want to do. So you can use a while loop for that. So remember, when we use while loops, we use menu systems. I tend to do it so we have a variable called run, and it's equal to true, and then we do while run is equal to true, do your, display the menu, get the user to enter what they should, or what they want to do. Hire a boat, bring a boat back. You have to get the user to say a boat's come back, what number it is, and then you just change that value there and say, okay, what's the boat number? Boat number 2. So if it's boat number 2, that would actually be this one, but it's, remember, in the array it would be -1 because of the 0 indexed array thing. So hopefully that's helped you. Do let me know if you need any help with this. Don't be shy, I'm happy to help, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. So that should give you a good idea of what you need to do, but without me actually doing it for you. Okay, see you on Tuesday morning for your lessons.